Eddie, was today a day when the result was more important than the performance?
Yeah, definitely. We needed to win today. And I think when you're managing, coaching, you can never put that demand on the team. I don't think it really helps. The players know. You need to work out how you're going to do it. And I thought the players delivered a really strong performance in difficult conditions because Wolves were solid and made it very difficult for us. And it was a nervy end, and at 1-0 I think it was always going to be, but I'm just really pleased that we got that win. That's a massive moment in our season.
You can't do much more on your debut against Wolves.
Yeah, a great moment for Nick. I think I was very pleased with how he played today. You saw his qualities, his technical qualities that we've been discussing, his intelligence. But most importantly, for a striker, when the ball comes in the box, you need to be there. And he was today. It was a great finish. Really, really pleased for him personally because that just settles him down and relaxes him. Very humble guy, wants to do well, he's delighted to be here. So I think it's a great start.
Some might call it an old-fashioned goal, but sometimes there's nothing wrong with a sort of timeless classic. Is there a winger crosses the ball, Newcastle centre forward, heads it home?
I'll take loads more classics like that. For me, that's a great football goal. It's a brilliant cross from Jacob Murphy, who did that time and again for us last season. And as I say, Nick's where he needs to be. You see a lot of centre forwards who aren't in the box these days, and I'm delighted that Nick is in there because one of the sort of challenges that he will face, because he's good technically and we want to use his technical skills, that he finds himself out of goal scoring areas, but he wasn't, and yeah, that's what he's paid to do.
Obviously that will get the headlines probably because you cover up signing scoring, but that's your third clean sheet in 4 games this season. That side of things must be really encouraging for you as well.
Yeah, really pleased with how we've defended. I think even the Liverpool game, I conceded 3, but with 10 men I thought we were really good, and we've had that resilient look about us again. Now, 4 games doesn't mean anything. It's a long season. We've got a lot of big games ahead, but certainly good signs for us. And it's not just the defending players, although they should rightly get a lot of credit. It is the team. But the team's functioning very well at the moment.
Can I just check on your Wissa? I think he was going for a scan today, wasn't he? Is there any good news on that or bad news?
I've got no news, so I'm waiting to find out myself.
Mark?
Nick's obviously going to get on the headlines, but Tonalis was outstanding today. Can you just sum up how important he is to this team and his kind of impact on the group?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he covered every blade today. I mean, he was putting out a lot of fires on transitions for us. I think he's done that superbly well, and sometimes it's not necessarily a quality that sort of registers immediately, but the number of times that he reads the game, reads where the ball's going to drop, and he's there first, then you realise it's a massive skill of his. And his athleticism, his speed. So defensively, I think he's one of the reasons why we've been so strong. But of course, then the other side of his game, he's used to the ball and his creativity, and nearly scored a great goal for us today. So I thought it was a great performance.
Can you just sum up the difference having a kind of focal point? I know Anthony's done a good job and Will played at Leeds as well. Can you just sum up the difference it makes having that focal point there? And has it changed the kind of feel of the team?
Yeah, I mean, different players bring different strengths. I mean, Anthony, I think, played the role really, really well. Just we didn't win the game, and of course he didn't score, but I think he was really effective, and he helped the team from a different viewpoint. Obviously, Nick's got strengths that we need to use. There's no point us sort of playing necessarily long balls in behind for him. That's not going to be his strength. So, but we're still getting to know him, and we're still getting to find out where he wants the ball. So time will tell, but he certainly made a very positive impression.
Thanks, Mark. We'll go to Chris, Craig and then Don, please.
Hi, Lee. Just on that, when you say about Nick's strengths, he's obviously only been training for a few days. How have you managed to get him into the system so quickly? And it seemed like it changed slightly, the players getting close to him. And like, how have you managed to do that in such a short space of time as well?
Yeah, we've had four training sessions with him, and I think it's slightly different for him. I think just the way that we train, I think it's always slightly different with any manager. But we've got our way of doing things, and we've just started. You know, every time you sign a new player, you sort of start the journey again. You start the building blocks, getting the basics of how we play, and then through time you expand that and find loads of different ways, hopefully to tap into his strengths that we can bring out. So very early stages, really, it's just getting to understand the basic start positions. And of course, off the ball, such a big thing for us. But I have to praise his game intelligence because he picks it up really quickly.
I mean, it's sort of, as a character, what's he like? Because as a footballer, he's not what you'd expect from a sort of 6 foot 6 inch. You'd think target man who can play like that. What's he like as a sort of character off the pitch?
Very, very humble. I mean, very calm, but good company. You know, very good communicator, funny. So I'm just trying to give you sort of a flavour of what he's like. But yeah, he's just you know, no language issues. He's very, very easy to talk to, and I think the players have really taken to him.
Greg?
At the end there, you give him a hug, it looked like you didn't want to let go.
Craig, that's... Go on, keep going.
I got it on video. What were you saying to him in that sort of 15, 20 seconds when you were walking across the pitch with your arm around him?
I don't remember. I think I do that with a lot of the players, Craig. I think I want them to know, you know, how special winning is. I want them to know that what they give is appreciated, and it's not just by the supporters but by me and the coaching team, because we've got a special group and they do give so much. You had a lot of internationals flying around the world coming back and have to get back into what our need is so great. They have to get back into that very quickly. So I think it was just a thank you, and you know, it's just the start of the journey for him.
And when he went in the dressing room, was there anything from his teammates, any applause or standing up or stitch or anything?
Yeah, a lot of love for him, a lot of pats on the back. The group are really good at doing that when someone does well. You know, they've all been freshly into the team at some stage and they know that feeling. So those emotional moments are really good to share with any player.
I'll take a few more. So we've got Wolves waiting to come in. We've got Dominic Martin, then across to Kieran Scott, please.
Nick Woltemade'S spoke about how he talked to Jake Murphy ahead of the game, like he would get balls in for him. Is that a partnership you can see being a success this season with some early signs of it?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I do believe in partnerships and relationships. Some players just gel together quicker than others. But Nick needs to have a good relationship with all our wingers. Just needs to understand their game, and Murph is one that likes to cross sometimes, and likes to cross really early. So it's understanding that. Maybe other players slightly delay that, but then still deliver just from different areas. So he doesn't know the players at all yet, really. So it's just getting used to them and understanding where they move.
Thank you. Martin?
Eddie, you kind of touched upon it there. How difficult and how much pressure is there on it, especially as a big money player going in and meeting your new teammates for the first time?
Yeah, it's not easy. Whenever you go into a dressing room for the first time, and I've been there a couple of times as a player, it's horrible. But some groups can make you feel at ease straight away, and you can feel at home straight away. Others you maybe never feel at home. It's just sometimes that emotional connection isn't there. I'd love to think that our players are very welcoming. They're very great with new people coming in and give them a real opportunity to bed in. And then, of course, it's how receptive that player is to everything in our culture. But really positive signs for Nick and for all the new signings this summer.
You kind of said he's won everyone over. Can you give an example of how he's done?
I just think with his interactions that I've seen from not just with me and my coaching team, but with the other players, I think it's about just recognising the team's the most important thing, and you're now a part of that team rather than it's about you, which is never about any one individual. It's always about the group.
Thank you. Kieran?
Do you remember when you first watched Nick and what made you interest in yourself in the track?
Yeah, well, he's an unusual player, and I think he's very distinctive. So I think it would have been last season watching quite a bit of German football. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching as much football as I can, and of course then the under-21 tournament, he was outstanding in that, and so then it became sort of a genuine interest in the player. And I think the more you watch him, the more you realise how different he is to the stereotypical size that he brings. Very, very creative, as I said, and we saw flashes of that today, little touches, little passes that can really make a difference and open up a stubborn defensive line. So we've got work to do with him. Definitely physically, he's got a lot to improve to get used to this level, because that was a quick game. I thought it was a physical game, but every game in the Premier League is so physical that you have to be ready to do it on a consistent basis, time and again, every 3-4 days this year for us.
The things he has to improve, so it was like maybe a fear if you didn't do it this summer, you might be unobtainable next.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever a striker scores goals consistently, they become very wanted. So I don't know whether that was necessarily in our mind. We had a need and a want and a gap, and I think he's certainly got the qualities to fill it.
Thank you. go to Scott, and then just a quick one from Leeds back.
Certain game coming on Thursday, apparently now. What's it feel like to be heading back into a Champions League week, particularly with Barcelona, and the fact that it is Newcastle against Barcelona? How much does that do for all the talk of the summer and all of that? How much is that just a reminder of where this club is at, where it's got to, everything you did last season to set this up?
Yeah, well, that's why today's win was so important, because there is no other noise other than that game, which I think if we hadn't won today, that wouldn't have been the case. It would have been slightly negative going into what should be a really positive game. So I think that all dissolves and we can just really focus entirely on this one game. For me, it's a magical game. It's the type of game that you're desperate to be a part of, desperate to hopefully represent the club really well, and I think that's our challenge. Of course, there's connections with Sir Bobby, which we fully embrace, and that's what makes it such a special fixture.
Thank you. Last one, Lee.
I think there's a story in Spain about Lamine Yamal being a doubt for the game on Thursday. Given his greatness as one of the young players, would you rather he was on that stage in some ways, because he'll bring a lot to the occasion on Thursday night?
Yeah, I think whenever I get asked about these types of questions, I think my answer is always the same. You want to play the best teams, you want to play against the best players, you want to challenge yourselves as much as you can. In saying that, we also want to win, so we'll take whoever they play. We know they've got world-class players in all the positions, so it's irrelevant to a degree, but obviously I understand the question.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Breaking. A $69 million signing just scored on his debut in 29 minutes, and the way he did it has Eddie Howe absolutely buzzing. This wasn't just any goal, Toon Army. This was a statement that could change Newcastle's entire season trajectory. What's up, Toon Army? This is NUFC Quick News, your source for raw black and white passion. We've just witnessed something special at St. James Park, and I'm here to break down every single detail the mainstream media missed. Let's get into it. The numbers don't lie. Woltemade just made history. 29 minutes. That's all it took for Nick. Woltemade to announce himself to the Gallagate. But here's what Sky Sports won't tell you. He did it 9 minutes. Faster than Alexander Isak managed on his Newcastle debut back in 2022. 9 bloody minutes faster than our current superstar striker. The 23-year-old Germany international didn't just score any goal either. This was a towering header at the far post, rising above Emmanuel Agbadou like he owned that penalty box. Jacob Murphy whipped in the cross, and Woltemade was there, exactly where a $69 million striker should be. But here's the question that's got everyone talking. Is this the signing that finally gives us the depth we've been crying out for? Let me paint the real picture for you, because what happened in those opening minutes had Eddie Howe's heart racing. Wolves came out like men possessed. Rodrigo Gomes unleashed a blistering shot that only Nick Pope's brilliance kept out. Then Hwang Hee-chan forced another save from the resulting corner. 2 massive chances, 2 potential goals. In the first few minutes, this wasn't the comfortable home banker everyone expected. This was Wolves, still without a single point this season, coming to St. James's Park with absolutely nothing to lose. And they nearly caught us cold. Think about it. How different would this story be if Pope hadn't pulled off those early heroics? But here's where Woltemade showed his class. Instead of shrinking under pressure, he started operating as our fulcrum. The former Stuttgart man was dropping deep, linking play, creating space. This wasn't just a target man waiting for service. This was a complete striker reading the game. 29 minutes in, everything clicked. Murphy's cross arced toward the far post. Agbadou thought he had it covered, but Woltemade had other ideas. The leap, the connection, the finish. Sam Johnstone never had a chance. St. James Park erupted. The Gallagate went mental. And Eddie Howe allowed himself that little smile we know so well. But here's what the cameras missed. Watch Woltemade's celebration again. Pure emotion, pure passion, pure Newcastle United. This wasn't just relief for scoring on debut. This was a player who understood the magnitude of the moment. A player who gets what it means to wear the black and white stripes. The tactical masterclass. Hidden in plain sight while everyone's talking about the goal. I'm seeing something deeper here. Howe deployed Woltemade in a way that's going to give opposing managers sleepless nights. He wasn't just a static target man. He was dropping into midfield, allowing Bruno Guimaraes to push higher. He was drifting wide, creating space for Jacob Murphy to attack the box. This is tactical evolution in real time. Sandro Tonali nearly made it 2-0 in first half stoppage time. His drive crashed off the post with Johnstone beaten. But that chance came because Woltemade'S movement had pulled defenders out of position. Are we watching the birth of Newcastle's most complete attacking partnership since the Shearer Bellamy days? The Wolves' response and what it tells us credit where credit's due. Wolves didn't roll over. Hugo Bueno was causing problems down their right flank. The Gomes brothers, Andre and Joao, were controlling patches of midfield play. But here's the crucial detail. Even when Wolves had their moments, they couldn't test Pope after those early scares. Why? Because Woltemade'S presence gave us the focal point we needed to pin them back. Harvey Barnes fired over in the 74th minute after brilliant play from Guimaraes. But again, that chance existed because Woltemade was occupying 2 defenders. This is what $69 million buys you. Not just goals, but the gravitational pull that creates space for everyone else. The Barcelona reality check now, here's where it gets interesting. Howe admitted after the match that Newcastle will need to be significantly better for Thursday's Champions League opener against Barcelona. He's not wrong. Wolves created chances that Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Gavi would bury without blinking. But here's my take. Woltemade'S debut performance just gave us a new dimension Barcelona won't have studied yet. They'll have watched hours of Isak footage. They'll know Wilson's movement patterns. But Woltemade? He's the unknown quantity. Could this debut goal be the catalyst that transforms our entire Champions League campaign? The depth dilemma finally solved. For months, we've been crying out for genuine competition up front. Someone who could come in when Isak needs a rest or partner him in bigger games. Woltemade'S debut suggests we might finally have that player. The way he linked with Murphy, the understanding he showed with Guimaraes, the hunger in his movement, this looked like a player who's been at the club for months, not days. And let's be honest, $69 million is serious money. But in today's market for a 23-year-old German international who can do what Woltemade just did, that's looking like shrewd business already. Here's the big question. With Woltemade firing and Isak returning to fitness, do we finally have the striker depth to compete on multiple fronts? What the numbers actually tell us: 1 goal, 1 debut, 3 points. But dig deeper and you'll find the real story. Woltemade completed 89% of his passes. He won 67% of his aerial duels. He created 2 chances for teammates. This wasn't a lucky debut goal from a nervous newcomer. This was a complete striker performance from a player who understands exactly what Newcastle United needed. The comparison to Isak's debut is telling too. Isak scored against Liverpool away. A magnificent strike, but in a game where we were chasing shadows. Woltemade scored at home, leading from the front, setting the tone for victory. Different circumstances, same outcome. Instant impact when Newcastle needed it most. I've been reading your comments, watching the fan reactions, scrolling through social media. The consensus is clear. This feels different, not just because of the goal, but because of how he scored it. The anticipation, the positioning, the finish. This looked like a player who studied Newcastle, who understands what we need. And after 3 seasons of watching Wilson battle injuries and depending entirely on Isak's brilliance, that's exactly what the Toon Army ordered. The question now is, was this debut goal just the beginning, or have we witnessed the moment that defines our entire season? This victory wasn't just about beating Wolves. It wasn't just about Woltemade'S goal. This was about proving we can grind out results when we're not at our best. It was about showing new signings can make immediate impacts. It was about demonstrating the squad depth that transforms good teams into great ones. Barcelona are waiting. The Champions League is calling. And now we have a new weapon they won't see coming. 29 minutes to announce yourself to the Toon Army. Not bad for a Tuesday night at St. James. Park smash that like button if you think Woltemade'S debut goal was worth every penny of that $69 million fee. And drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every single Toon Army comment. Do you think this changes everything for our Champions League hopes? Until next time, stay proud, stay loud, and always keep the faith. Away the lads! Keep the faith. Away the lads!